Look, Australia is beautiful. It's home. But let's be honest, unless you've got a mining fortune or sold property in Sydney at exactly the right time, retirement here can feel like financial self-sabotage. The good news? You're sitting about 6 hours away from countries where your pension can buy you a lifestyle that would make a Sydney millionaire jealous. So today, we're counting down the 5 cheapest countries to retire in Asia for Australians. We're talking places where you can actually afford to turn on the aircon, where a massage costs less than parking at Westfield. If you're new here, subscribe and hit the bell. If you've already retired somewhere amazing in Asia, drop it in the comments and let us know how it's going. All right, let's do this. Kicking us off at number 5 is Vietnam. And let me tell you, this country is punching way above its weight in the retirement game. Vietnam is what happens when you take incredible food, beautiful scenery, and friendly people, then price it so low that you feel like you're constantly forgetting to carry the one in your currency conversion. A nice 2-bedroom apartment in a decent area? About 600 to 900 Aussie dollars a month. You can live comfortably, and I mean comfortably, on about $1,800 to $2,200 a month including everything. That's less than most Australians pay just for rent. The food here is legitimately top tier. Pho for breakfast? $2. Fresh spring rolls? Like $3, enough to feed a small army. Meanwhile, back in Melbourne, you're paying $18 for a bowl of pho that was made by someone who learned about Vietnam from a YouTube video. Cities like Da Nang and Hoi An are absolutely stunning. You've got beaches that look like they belong in a screensaver, ancient towns with lanterns everywhere, and modern infrastructure that actually works. Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City are there if you want that big city energy, but they're still wildly affordable compared to any Australian capital. Healthcare is surprisingly solid. The international hospitals in the major cities have English-speaking doctors, modern equipment, and you'll pay maybe a tenth of what you'd pay in Australia. A doctor's visit without insurance? $20 to $40. Try finding that in Perth. Now the downsides. The visa situation is a bit of a dog's breakfast. Vietnam doesn't have a straightforward retirement visa, so you'll be doing visa runs or getting a business visa sponsored by a company. The language barrier is real because English isn't super widespread outside tourist areas. And the traffic? Mate, crossing the street in Hanoi is like playing a real-life game of Frogger where the cars don't stop. But honestly, for the price and the lifestyle, Vietnam is an absolute cracker. The expat community is growing, especially in Da Nang, and more Aussies are figuring out that this place is a hidden gem. At number 4, we've got Cambodia, which is basically Asia's best-kept secret for retirees, assuming you like your retirement with a side of adventure. Cambodia is dirt cheap. I'm talking rent a decent apartment for $400 a month cheap. You can live well on 1,500 Australian dollars a month. And if you're willing to embrace the local lifestyle, you can drop that even lower. That's less than what some people spend on groceries in Sydney. Here's where Cambodia really shines. They actually want you to retire there. They've got a retirement visa that's basically the easiest thing in Asia. The E-Class visa with an ER extension. You're over 55? Cool. Here's a 1-year visa that you can renew forever. No proof of income required. No money in a bank account required. Just show up with your passport and some photos. Compare that to jumping through flaming hoops in other countries, and Cambodia starts looking pretty attractive. The expat scene in Phnom Penh and Siem Reap is fantastic. Tons of Australians, Europeans, Americans, all living the good life for a fraction of what it costs back home. You can get your Western food fix when you need it, but the Khmer food is actually delicious and criminally underrated. Plus, everything's cheap. A beer? $1? A full meal at a nice restaurant? $5 to $8. Siem Reap has Angkor Wat, which never gets old. Phnom Penh is a proper city with everything you need. The coast has some beautiful beaches if you can overlook some of the development chaos. The healthcare situation is the main downside. It's improving, but for anything serious, you're probably heading to Bangkok or hopping on a plane back to Australia. The infrastructure is still developing, so expect power cuts and dodgy roads in some areas. And Cambodia's history means there are still some rough edges to the country. But if you want cheap, easy visas and a solid expat community where everyone's living large on a shoestring, Cambodia is brilliant. Just make sure you've got good travel insurance. Coming in at number 3 is Malaysia. And this is where we start getting into countries that have really figured out how to attract foreign retirees. Malaysia has a program called Malaysia My Second Home, and it's basically a red carpet rolled out for retirees. If you're over 50, you can get a renewable 10-year visa that lets you buy property, import a car, and basically live like a local. The requirements got stricter recently, You need to show about 40,000 Malaysian ringgit, about 14,000 Aussie dollars, in monthly income or a fixed deposit of 1 million Malaysian ringgit in a Malaysian bank, with 500,000 Malaysian ringgit withdrawable after 1 year for approved expenses. If you can meet those requirements, you're golden. The cost of living is very reasonable. You can live comfortably on about 2,500 to 3,500 Australian dollars a month in Kuala Lumpur or Penang, less if you're outside the major cities. Rent for a nice apartment in a good area runs about $800 to $1,200. Malaysia is more expensive than Cambodia or Vietnam, but you get a lot more infrastructure, stability, and modern amenities for that extra money. Healthcare is genuinely excellent. Malaysia has some of the best hospitals in Asia, and medical tourism is a huge industry there. The doctors speak perfect English, the facilities are top-notch, and you'll still pay way less than Australia. A lot of expats actually get their dental work and elective surgeries done in Malaysia because even with flights, it's cheaper. The food scene is insane. Malaysia is where Malay, Chinese, Indian, and Western cuisines all collide, and the result is some of the best eating in Asia. Hawker centers are everywhere, and you can eat like a king for $5. Plus, they've got everything. Proper Western supermarkets with Australian products, international restaurants, you name it. Malaysia was a British colony, so English is everywhere, especially in the cities. You can get by just fine without learning Malay, though locals always appreciate if you try. The weather is hot and humid year-round, which is either a pro or a con, depending on whether you're sick of Australian winters or you actually like having seasons. The Bumi Putera policies mean there's some inequality built into the system, but as a foreigner, you mostly won't notice it. Malaysia is the Goldilocks option, not the cheapest, but not expensive either. At number 2, we have the heavyweight champion of Asian retirement destinations, Thailand. And yeah, I know, putting Thailand at number 2 might be controversial, but hear me out. Thailand is the OG retirement destination for a reason. They've been perfecting this game for decades. You can live well in Thailand on about 2,500 to 3,500 Aussie dollars a month, depending on where you are and how you live. Bangkok is pricier, Chiang Mai and Hua Hin are cheaper, and there are beach towns where you can live even more affordably if you don't need big city amenities. The Thai retirement visa requires you to be over 50 and show either 800,000 baht in a Thai bank, about 35,000 Australian dollars, or proof of monthly income of 65,000 baht, about 2,800 Australian dollars. It's not the easiest in Asia, but it's straightforward, and if you keep meeting the requirements, you can stay long-term. Healthcare is phenomenal. Hospitals like Bumrungrad in Bangkok are internationally accredited, and people literally fly from Australia to Thailand for medical procedures because it's cheaper even with airfare. You can get a full medical checkup for a couple $100s that would cost thousands in Australia. The expat community is massive. There are Australians everywhere. You can join cricket clubs, rugby clubs, bowls clubs, whatever you want. Some people love this because you never feel isolated. Others hate it because they're trying to escape Australia, not recreate it overseas. Thai food needs no introduction. It's incredible, it's everywhere, and it's cheap. Street food for $2, nice restaurant meals for $8 to $12. You can eat out every single day and still spend less than cooking at home in Sydney. The downsides? Thailand isn't the bargain basement it used to be. Prices have crept up, especially in popular expat areas. Bangkok's pollution and traffic are legitimately bad. The visa requirements mean you need to keep money locked up in a Thai bank. And honestly, parts of Thailand are so full of expats that you sometimes forget you left Australia. But Thailand works. It just works. And the number 1 cheapest place for Australians to retire in Asia is the Philippines. Now I can already hear some of you saying, really, the Philippines? Over Thailand? Yes, really. And here's why this archipelago of over 7,000 islands deserves the top spot for Aussie retirees. The Philippines is ridiculously cheap. We're talking rent a nice 2-bedroom apartment in a decent area for 400 to 800 Australian dollars a month cheap. You can live comfortably, and I mean really comfortably, on $1,500 to $2,000 a month all in. That's rent, food, utilities, entertainment, the lot. Try doing that anywhere in Australia and see how far you get. This is where it really shines. Everyone speaks English. The Philippines was an American colony. English is one of the official languages, and pretty much everyone speaks it fluently. You can handle banking, healthcare, government paperwork, ordering food, making friends, everything in English. You won't be miming at doctors or playing charades at the market. For Aussies who aren't exactly fluent in other languages, this is massive. The Filipino people are genuinely some of the warmest, friendliest people you'll ever meet. They'll basically adopt you into their family before you've finished unpacking. The Philippines offers one of the easiest retirement visas in Asia through the Special Resident Retirees Visa. If you're over 50 and receiving a pension of about $800 a month, you can qualify with a $10,000 bank deposit. In some cases, that deposit can later be converted into a condominium purchase. Compared to Thailand's locked funds or Malaysia's much higher financial requirements, the Philippines looks very attractive. Healthcare is solid and affordable. The quality is good in major cities like Manila, Cebu, and Davao, with many doctors trained in the US or Australia. You can get quality healthcare for a fraction of Australian prices, and many hospitals have international accreditation. The food is fantastic. Filipino cuisine doesn't get the global hype it deserves, but it's delicious. Plus, because of the strong Spanish and American influence, you'll find familiar flavors alongside the local stuff. And it's all dirt cheap. A full meal at a decent local restaurant, $3 to $5. The expat community is thriving, especially in places like Dumaguete, which has basically become expat retirement central. Lots of Australians, Americans, and Europeans all living the good life. You've got a support network, people who understand the transition, and enough familiarity that you won't feel completely isolated. Now the downsides, because nowhere's perfect. The infrastructure isn't as developed as Thailand or Malaysia. Power cuts happen, internet can be spotty in smaller areas, and roads aren't always great. Typhoon season is a real thing, usually June through November, and it can get pretty intense depending on where you are. Traffic in Manila is absolutely horrendous, genuinely some of the worst in the world. But here's the thing, you don't have to live in Manila. Most retirees avoid it completely and head to places like Dumaguete, Cebu, Tagaytay, or the islands where life is way more relaxed. The political situation can be a bit chaotic, and there are some areas in the southern Philippines you'll want to avoid due to security concerns. But the main expat areas are perfectly safe, and honestly, once you're settled in, you barely notice the political drama. You get that perfect storm of cheap living, easy communication, straightforward visas, great weather, and a lifestyle that'll make your mates back home jealous. That's why it's number one. The bottom line is this. Your Australian pension or super can go incredibly far in Asia. You don't have to spend your retirement pinching pennies and eating 2-minute noodles in a cramped flat in Parramatta. You can live well, live comfortably, and actually enjoy your golden years without the constant financial anxiety. My advice? Visit these places before you commit. Spend a month or two in each one if you can. Retirement is a big decision, and you want to make sure the place actually fits your lifestyle, personality, and needs. What works for one person might drive another person mental. And obviously, sort out your healthcare, your finances, your visas, all that boring but essential stuff before you go. Nothing ruins a retirement faster than legal or financial problems. Get out there, live it up, and enjoy the retirement you actually deserve.